We are diving back into the world of Jason Todd. This is Red Hood Outlaw, issue 29, Tooth and Nail. Scott Lobdell writing, Pete Woods doing the art and cover, Rex Lokus doing the colors, and ALW's Troy Peteri doing letters. Marie Yabins, group editor, and Rob Levin, editor. Now, last issue, Jason went into the heart of Appleton to try to get to the source of the Underlife, and ended up in the battle fighting against all these Grundy clones. And it was an entertaining read, seeing him rip through all these with all the guts and fluid. It just felt like something that you would read in a Halloween special. Now he is teamed up with, and I think her name's Cassandra Cain. I always get her name mixed up, so let me know down in the comments. Oh, it's right here. Batwoman. Kate Cain is ex-military, the tactician of our extended dysfunctional Bat family. I'm Red Hood. Jason Todd, Outlaw. The blackest of sheeps. I'm okay with it. So essentially, I think what happens is Kate is on the same trail for the Underlife as Jason. She goes, now we know that these hostiles are constructs. We don't have to go easy on them. Ugh, who's going to go easy on them? Batwoman. Nonetheless, we need to fall back and figure out how we're going to make it out of this alive. So we see that the Underlife, even though they are on the surface of Appleton, everything looks like something like a slice of Americana. There is something going on deeper. And I love how we just kind of start with them basically regrouping after the last page of the last issue. And then just, we are right back into Grundy slaying. And then you see that they are robots. She's like, you sure you're not enjoying this too much? I think I'm enjoying it. The perfect. And yeah, that first part of this book is just absolutely amazing. And while all this is going on, I love how low key, and this is why I always enjoy Scott Lobdell, because we go back and we look at like Chris Claremont's X-Men run. We look at John Byrne's Alpha Flight. And in the midst of all that, they knew how to transition to like meanwhile without always having to say meanwhile. And that's kind of what's happening here is we have this whole nightmare thing happening in Appleton. And then the FBI agent that Jason saved in the first part of this series, she's kind of coming in behind, seeing the diner where he beat up all the redneck truck drivers, to see that there's something deep going on within. You talk about that mass lunatic like he's a friend of yours. He knew we'd find this. Tie him to it. He's leaving a trail of breadcrumbs to follow. But for who? And this is where we're slowly building up this character called Wingman. And yeah, it's kind of interesting because we barely know anything about him except for these little blips. And I just like that that's building up the overall suspicion. Then we cut into more action. And again, and I've said this a million times about this series, Lobdell knows how to let the artists move the story. And as we go through, you see that it's not overly bloated with dialogue. Or if there is dialogue, at least Lobdell kind of knows, like with John Byrne and Chris Claremont, it means something. There's depth to it. There's not like a whole panel of dialogue. And we went over that. I don't remember what issue it was, but it was like a panel like this. And you could see the artwork, but there was like 5 word balloons completely covering the artwork. So that's what I mean by appreciate, just letting the scenes breathe with just enough to let you understand. Same with the subplot, same with the main plot. And once the battle is over, they find this house in the midst of Appleton. At the end of the orchard is the main house. Batwoman's intel says this is where these Mondays are coming from. And those are for you that may not know what he means by Mondays. When we were talking about the Grundy clones, Solomon Grundy, his whole persona was built off the original tale of Solomon Grundy, which I believe from the deep dive that we did was a kid's nursery rhyme, essentially. And it says that Solomon Grundy was born on a Monday. Oh God, I can't remember the whole thing off the top of my head. What was it? Born on a Monday, wed on a Tuesday, something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, by Sunday, he dies. And then it says, so is the tale of Solomon Grundy. And so that's what they mean by Mondays, for those of you that may just be getting into comics. Moving on. She calls these monsters that because apparently they've been created in using variant strains of DNA belonging to Solomon Grundy. A name and face I haven't seen for a while, fortunately. I'd be an idiot to assume that was a coincidence. Maybe this started long before Roy caught the scent of the drug shipment, leaving me to track the source here to Appleton. Gotham's a toilet, always was, always will be. I get why crime thrives there, but this place, the evil hides in plain sight. And what really makes this particular panel, or should I say page, exciting from me is this Dutch angel. We're going to call it Dutch Angel. Dutch Angle looking up at Jason in the leading lines pointing towards the house like that. Very dynamic. And for me, it reminds me of something you would see like in Red Dead Redemption or Django Unchained. It just has that feel. And how he says the evil hides in plain sight, but it's still here. You saved me the trouble of knocking. And look, one dialogue box, an onomatopoeia, I think is the right word for the sound effects. And that's it. We don't need every single ninja talking. And that's what I mean. It's just nice little things like that. Now, in the midst of this, you find out what's really happening with Appleton. I don't want to give it completely away, but at the end, I love how Batwoman says, how'd it go? You tell me. And that's just like the perfect way to encompass Red Hood, the Outlaw, not M the Outlaws or Robin. This is Jason Todd, just in his perfect form. Now, as this particular part of the arc starts to end, if you ever wonder if we got it all wrong, how so? The bad guys, they're everywhere, even here in the middle of nowhere. They're always better financed, better equipped. They either hire goons or soldiers, or they make them. You almost sound like you respect them. Second thoughts? More like third, fourth, and fifth. I hear that. You and I, we've both strayed. He forgave me, Jason. Show him you've learned from your mistakes. He'll forgive you too. Now, spoilers, if you guys haven't been following a lot of the arc since Rebirth, Jason says, you shot Clayface because it was the right thing to do. 100%. It's why I stood up for you. I tried to kill Penguin because I was angry. There's no walking back from that. And it's nice to see how both these characters are sort of like the outside looking in, but Kate did it in an honorable way, as where Jason, even though he has grown a lot since his initial setup way back in post-crisis days. And I say post-crisis because pre-crisis, he was more Dick Grayson type, more bubbly, and he had blonde hair. After that, he became the street punk that we knew that Batman took in after he stole wheels off the Batmobile. So it's just nice to see that even though he's grown, there's still parts that he is fighting with. And the book still continues with, with the Underlife. Now, we talked about this in Batman 107. This is one thing that really kind of irks my Gurk about Renee Montoya. So she's basically Kate Kane is going to join Jason going down to finish off the Underlife. Montoya joins them, and this is what irks me. So Kate says, you're not going to ask any questions? And she says, please, I know better by now. I'm off until Friday. Okay, cool, we got a little road trip. But in 107, I don't remember, in terms of continuity, I can't remember if 107 came later or before this, but at this point, Renee's just like, yeah, let's go. But during 107, when Fear State's starting to build up, and she's, I guess, the commissioner now, and she's just full on ready to shoot Batman in the face. And so it's just a weird disconnect in terms of personality. Am I getting it wrong, or do you think maybe Lobdell and Tynion just didn't talk about it? I don't know. That to me, it just was a whole night and day difference of characteristics. Let me know. But this issue, overall, I've been thoroughly enjoying it. There's enough action, there's enough silliness, and you get different awesome characters, like we saw with the reconciliation with Bruce. Kate joins the flock this time, and then we see that Renee's joining thereafter. It's just a lot of fun, and to see the other side of what Batman has created. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever you like to get your action figures and comics, and grab the series, the collected trade, or do what I'm doing, where I checked it out from my local library so I could share it with y'all. This is kind of what the cover looks like for it. And if you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate taking a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you want hitting that fancy little Outlaw bell next, subscribe. That way, as I get to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel. And I love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure the links down in the description. And if you enjoy what I do and you'd like to support the channel, I have left a PayPal tip jar link down in the description. And if not, I still appreciate you stopping by. Either way, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.